Welcome back to another channel episode from Zook Faux Fitty show, and we're still working on the Subaru. We actually got it fixed. I've been driving it around for a couple days. It actually drives really good. I feel like there might be a little bit of a boost leak, so what we're going to do in this episode is we're going to tighten up the work that we did, try to wrap up tighten up the exhaust a little bit, check that downpipe on the turbo that we installed the last episode when we fixed the spark plug hole and got it running. And then we've got an O2 sensor that we have to install. We have a turbo inlet pipe that we're going to install. And yeah, I think we might actually fashion a cold air intake. I might go get one of those and find a coupler for the intake boot. So right here you can see that little restriction is really kind of defeating the whole purpose of having a totally open 3-inch exhaust. So we're gonna get a little more air pushing into it too and see if we can't get it updated. I tried to plug in the Cobb access port that we got from the Facebook Marketplace, and it does give us boost, but it reads negative, so it's not even married to the car. It doesn't even really work. It turns on, but that was kind of a waste. Thankfully, we got a refund for that, like I said in the other episode. But Y pipe that we got didn't fit, so I got to return that. I got a return label for it. Anyways, just a bunch of stuff going on. So let's go ahead and get this car up on jack stands, and we'll get that downpipe off. All right, so we got the front tires off the car up on the stand and saturated the ball joints. They have little pin bolts that go through the ball joints. It's like a pinch bolt, and if you don't saturate them, they tend to build up rust inside, in between where the housing pinches it down. In that little space, they'll build up corrosion however long they've been in there. It's hard to tell, so you got to saturate that pretty good, let it set overnight. So I'm going to hit it again real quick, and then we'll come back and try to take them out tomorrow, and hopefully the WD-40 or penetrant has done its job and it won't break those bolts off. If that happens, then I'll have to order new control arms because I'm not drilling them out. But we'll see you tomorrow in the morning. See if I can get a good angle on it. It goes up in that seat, and there's a pinch bolt that goes across, and it sits down through that control arm hole right there. And it was seized up in there. I had to heat it up, and that didn't work. I pounded on it with a 5-pound sledgehammer. That didn't work. So then I got a pry bar and my pickle fork, and put the pry bar under the knuckle, in between the knuckle and the, I'll flip this around and show you. In between this joint and the control arm right there. And I spread it apart right there. And I wanted to figure out how I was gonna do it before I put it on camera. It was quite a struggle. It took me almost 2 hours to figure out how I was going to break that puppy loose. But then I had kind of an epiphany, and you just needed to have something tapered. And at first I thought about maybe like a splitter, a log splitter, but that seemed like it would be a little too big. So then, hey, why not this tapered pickle fork sitting on top of this pry bar. And instead of using, I used the 5 pound or the 2.5 pound sledge to set it. And once it was in there nice and tight, I used the 10 pound. Or was that 5 pound? I used the big one. And damned if it didn't come out. So here, I'll set up the camera and I'll show you on the other side how I got this out. UPS should be delivering the new ball joints today. These have serviceable mug controller or sway bars, sway links. So I'll show you. See, they have the grease zerts. I'll just fill those puppies up because they seem to be in good shape still. Yeah, and I'll leave those on there for now. I have to seal that up because I cracked my freaking speed sensor trying to pound on it. It's been a morning. I'm gonna leave that heat shield off because it's rusted to shit. But yeah, I should be able to just pop it back together now. We will take the Dremel and pry this down and Dremel out that hole a little bit and then grease everything up before we slide it in there so that it doesn't seize again. We'll put an anti-seize on it and then it should just go back together, hopefully. Let's do the other side. Bottom is loose. Put the nut back on. Loosen up that. All right, just to show you guys what I'm doing, after you've got everything out of the way and you've got your linkage unhooked, unhook one, it doesn't matter, and you've got your bottom bolt loose, like this taper bolt, you can knock that loose, it's loose, and you screw this bolt back on hand tight, and then you wedge. So I've got the pry bar in there on top of the pickle fork on top of that, and I will hit this, and as it's tapered, it will push that ball joint down out of the socket. So I'm gonna put a little heat on it first, and then I'm gonna go ahead and give it a nice hit with the sledge on that side to see if we can't pop it out of place. So after 30 minutes of beating the shit out of this thing, this is kind of what your progression looks like. You can see it starting to pull out of that seat, and you get her moving, and it's all uphill. Well, it's all downhill, whichever way is easiest, uphill or downhill from there. Let's get this fucker out. All right, it took some doing, but it's out. And that one only took me, I mean, it was about 45 minutes with all that corrosion. I mean, look at that thing. It was seized in there 100%. So, and UPS hasn't shown up yet. So, looks like we're gonna have to put her on pause until we get our parts. All right, that's it for today. Sweating my ass off, but we got both of the ball joints out, which that's the hardest part. Now we just need to Dremel out the seats and put some anti-seize on the new ones and slap them in there. Hopefully the new ones come with new pinch bolts. If not, I mean, we can reuse these, I guess. I'll maybe put a lock washer on it or something. Maybe we'll go on a field trip and get some new ones tomorrow at Home Depot or something. Anyways, that's gonna be it for today. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, just like the other side, I went ahead and did the other side to see what kind of hang-ups that I was gonna have. And now we're gonna finish this side. I put a little super glue. Hopefully that'll work, but it doesn't look like it's helping to seal up the speed sensor before I put the rotor or put the tire back on. I might just take some RTV sealant and glob it on there so that it's waterproof. I greased the zerts on the linkage, but I also have the option to replace those if I want, which I have new linkages and new tie rod ends, but they are okay so far, so we don't really need to. So we're gonna start by moving this to the side and we're gonna get the Dremel up in there and clean that socket out a little bit. So this is the bolts before. I'm actually really lucky that I got these out. It looked like it was about ready to snap. And I found these old Ski-Doo head bolts. From the rebuild that I did a while back, same pitch. We're going to replace it with these because they're so much nicer. Okay. So grease the linkage. New ball joint. New bolt. New cotter pin. Should be good to test out. Let's get that downpipe on there and take her for a spin. All right. Seems like it's running pretty good. We got full boost, no check engine lights, and the only clunking now is coming from the back. So I think that's the rear anti-sway links, which we got some in the kit that we got. So we'll replace those and we'll drive this puppy. Everything seems pretty good. Here we go, here we go. Are we gonna stop here and take a break?
Okay, then.
Good job, that was a fun section, huh?
Yeah.
It got a little fast. How'd you feel, Hank?
Okay.
That's good, give me 5.